Hello, my name is Austin Escura, and welcome to our instruction guide for how to install an operating system. Next slide. Now, as our title mentions, we'll be talking about how to install an operating system onto your computer. Now, depending on what you're installing, your instructions may vary a little bit from the ones that we cover here. We'll be using the elementary operating system, which is based off of the Ubuntu distribution of Linux, and we'll be using versions 0 through 2. If you're installing a different version, or if you're installing a different operating system altogether, your instructions might be a little different, but we're approaching this in a way where we'll be helping you understand the overall process and the general procedures that are universal between all operating systems. So by following our instructions, you'll be able to install any operating system you like, even if you're not using it specifically for that operating system in this case. Next slide. So what do you need to know? You don't actually need to know very much. Our guide helps you understand this process in a way that's very simple, and the only thing you actually need to know how to do is how to type on a keyboard and how to point and click with a mouse. However, before we start getting into the nitty-gritty details, there are a couple things that you do need to understand. Next slide. And that is particularly the scope of this guide. We wanted to keep this guide simple, and we wanted to keep it general so that it would apply to any kind of operating system that you wanted to work with, at least in a general manner. So the only thing that we'll actually be covering in this guide are how to install the operating system, so the actual installation process, and how to troubleshoot common problems that arise during the installation process. What we do not cover is how to obtain a working version of the operating system, how to make the bootable disks or drives, how to back up a system's data, or how to recover the previous state of a computer. So there are a couple things that you do need to make sure that you prepare on your own time that we will not be covering in this guide. That includes setting up the bootable that will contain the operating system that you'll be installing, and making sure to pull all data that you want off the computer beforehand. Whenever you install an operating system onto the computer, it erases all data previously stored on there. So if you have anything on your computer that you'd like to hold on to, please make the necessary preparations to take care of that now, since we won't be covering it later on in the guide. So there are a couple terms that you should be familiar with just to make this process a little less daunting. First is bootable. It refers to wherever you have the operating system stored for installation. Typically, you're going to want it on a CD, a compact disc, or a DVD, a digital video disc. Those are the common forms that you'll see in the older operating systems, but nowadays we'll typically actually have thumb drives where a lot of operating systems will be installed, and we'll have those ready for the installation process. You need to know what a provider is, and when we mention the provider, we're referring to the manufacturer of your computer. There's occasionally information which is specific to your model and make a computer, so if there's something that is not general enough in our guide that applies to your machine, you need to know who to contact for device-specific information.